This is the stuff dreams are made of. I'm writer-collector Ryan Condal.
And I'm writer-collector Dave Mandel, and you're listening to the original Movie Props podcast brought to you by Propstore this week. We're going to be talking all about the big entertainment memorabilia live auction August 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th in Los Angeles, California. They're going to be having day one, I believe, at the Peterson Museum again. And then day 2, 3, and 4 will be not at the Peterson, but there'll be telephone bidding and absentee bidding and all of that kind of good stuff. But live auction day one at the Peterson. And so this is an all prop store show. We're going to be going through the catalog. But how are you, Ryan? Welcome. I should let everyone know we are on StreamYard for the first time. We had been using Riverside and had some issues, and now we're trying StreamYard. So we'll see what happens. Yeah,
sucked into the river a couple of times.
Yeah, we had a couple of issues, so we're trying StreamYard. Brought to you by StreamYard, Propstore, and StreamYard. No, they're not giving us anything. We pay them.
We're paying them.
Yeah, we pay them, but here we are, and it sounds clearer to me, and it looks clearer. I have no idea what the end product will be like.
Yeah.
But
I think we might have a better video feed here.
Yeah,
I can see more definition in my shining wallpaper.
I feel like this is sort of the kind of stuff that I don't even
dreams
care
are made
about.
of.
I was gonna say I don't really care about in real life. I don't know why we're talking about it why I'm talking about it on the show in such detail. Like I feel like we pay Bart not to ever have to say the word StreamYard, and yet that's like the 8th time I've said StreamYard.
Well,
so
let's see if it picks up in the algorithm.
Yeah. If we could tap into the StreamYard fans, I think we'd really have something with this show. How are you?
I'm very good, Dave. I'm very excited about this big honking catalog, and excited to go through it. I think there's actually.
I think my list is too long, dare I say?
Yeah,
what do we want the list to be?
I mean,
I'll save stuff for later too.
And that's the thing. I started just pruning back stuff that I think we bring up in our categories thing, because we will do a live stream episode, and we'll announce when exactly that is at a later date on the feed, on our social feed. So stay tuned for that. We'll also email you guys that are on our little mailing list, and if you want to be on the mailing list, the email list for things like live events, just write dreamsaremadeofpodcast@gmail.com. I pulled we're usually going for like our 15 favorite things, thinking that usually we end up talking about 20 to 25 things because there is some overlap between us, but my list is 20 and I felt pretty good about it. So
I have 28, but I'll edit as we go.
Okay.
I'll edit as we
and
go.
I'm sure there's
well, there'll be overlap, so that will
crossover.
help create some overlap. Anything what's new in props in your world before
this
going?
big catalog, I think we should just, the fans, they want us to get to
I think
the
they demand it. They demand it. I was going to tell people this though, which is for the first episode we put up we've been putting up obviously a whole bunch of unboxings, and then I put up the time lapse of the Taylor costume going on to the mannequin,
which was great,
which was really cool. And I've gotten a lot of people that are sort of interested in like sort of where do things stand. And what I was just going to say really quickly, because I think people will be interested. So Rob Klein helped me with that mannequin, store-bought mannequin. When we tried to put the undersuit on it, the undersuit would not allow the pants to close. So there's 3 things that need to happen.
We've all been there, Dave.
Yes. Well, to sort of make this mannequin a little bit more customizable. So 3 things that are going to happen to this mannequin. 1, it's going to be taken to a place where basically the belly and waist are sanded down using an Ozempic drill of some sort, or an Ozempic sander, to kind of get that down a little bit so that the undersuit can be worn. Not that you see the undersuit from the outside, but I guess I own it. I'd like it to be on it. I'd like it to be there. So that's number 1.
Do you have any explosive mannequin diarrhea counterattack plans? Are you thinking about that?
I think the sanding makes it a little dizzy. The Ozempic sanding makes you a little dizzy or something. Brought to you by Ozempic.
And StreamYard.
And StreamYard. So that's going to be number 1. Number 2, I mentioned previously that they're James Franciscus's boots from, I believe, the second Planet of the Apes movie.
Mhm.
And he has smaller feet, and so the
Mm.
mannequin is going to get a footectomy. I'm not quite sure yet whether he's going to lose half a foot to his diabetes or at the ankles, but that will allow the feet to go into the boots and fit. Along with that, currently the mannequin stands because of a pole coming out of the feet, and that's where it mounts. And I'm going to remove that mounting point so that I don't have to put holes in the boots, which is something people used to do, drill holes in the bottom of replica boots. I would do it with, but obviously with screen used, I'm
Yeah,
not going to do that. And so we are going to move the support bar into the back of the mannequin. So that's another reason why I need a little more wiggle room in the
got it,
waist so that the jacket can be whatever.
got
So
it.
when that all happens, I will put more up. But I thought people might get a kick out of that information. Yeah,
Should I blaspheme on the podcast, Dave?
go for it. You've
I,
never seen Planet of the Apes, have you? The original
uh, uh,
ever?
no, 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 I've seen Planet of
Oh,
the Apes. No, I was gonna go a different direction.
oh,
I drilled a hole in my Shatner boot. Because it
really?
yeah, because Chris, he went back and forth on this a lot, and he talked to Steven about it, and they all feel like museums are sort of they're like, it's cool, it's archival. You can it could because of where it goes into the shoe. Provided it's a normal shoe. This is a normal shoe with a normal heel. You basically just get a shoe material plug, and if you ever took it off, you just plug it in there, and it's nobody ever sees it. So he's like, it's actually better for the support on the mannequin. It's obviously better for the just
I do think it
the
is a
look.
better
Like,
support spot.
yeah,
Like I said, I've done it with replicas. I've never quite done it. And look, I never thought about it that way. I guess are those more off the shelf boots with less of any kind of like
yeah,
paint job or something of that
yeah,
nature?
yeah, yeah.
I
And
will
I mean,
say these
I'll have to go through this when I redo my Dallas mannequin, my aliens one, because I
right,
remember I had replica boots. So the mannequin is built,
right. But then you did a
but
deal
now I
for
have
real. Yeah.
real ones, so I'll have to make that calculation when I get there. Yeah.
I am understanding the Kirk. I'm not sure I've digested it. I'm not quite sure I love it with the Dallas boots. But again, I don't remember specifically what they look like. It just
They're
I'm
like
not gonna
they're
lie, it
they're
bothers me
snow boots.
conceptually. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I get it. I
Yeah.
mean, I felt okay with the Kirk because what, and he showed me how he did it, and it's like basically you just plug a black
And like I said,
thing at
my
the
my
end, and
brain
it's
is
yeah.
processing it.
And
Yeah.
importantly, I did not drill through the screen used William Shatner lifts. Those, remember, I pulled those out, so those have been preserved, and those are whole.
Those are preserved for future posterity for short people
Correct.
to look taller through to the end of time, which is very
Correct.
important. Yeah. All
Should
right.
we open this catalog?
I am ready. Like I said, I think I have a few too many, but it's going to be good.
I'm
And
prepared.
I'm prepared, and I am guessing we both have the same first one, and that it is number one. Yes or no?
No, I skipped over it.
Oh, all right,
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
right. Well,
So yeah,
I'm
go.
gonna say yes to it, which is a framed pair of Discovery Crew mission patches from 2001. We have both discussed trying to get something, you know, from 2001, and these look like
Yeah,
two just really nice patches.
they're gorgeous.
I like the framing of them, and in a world where I don't really know or what else is coming down the pike, I think this would be a very enjoyable piece. And while there's a healthy estimate, I'm hoping everybody is a little like sort of, huh, what, where at what that first lot, and
Yeah,
maybe the internet isn't quite working at that first one, and maybe kind of grab it. But it's something I would really love to get. I want to see these in person. I want to get a sense of how it looks size wise in person. They look of decent size, but I do want to sort of
yeah, and they're
see
nicely
what.
presented.
Yes, very nicely presented. I want to feel it with my eye, but I did dig it, and again, something you're not a lot from, and
Yeah,
just sort of cool. So anyway, that's that. I'm starting with number one.
good call.
How about you? Yeah.
10 is my first lot.
I marked this as well and thought
I
you
figured
might
that.
as well. Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
this was really, really cool.
The
Um,
Nostromo is back.
yeah.
I my history with this thing goes back to, I think, when Propstore acquired it, and they did this really big restoration on it because it was not really well cared for. But there was a meticulous restoration done by a big. I don't know if they want to be known. I don't know if it's in the listing, but I won't say it. But a big to do model shop in the Southern California area that has film DNA did this extensive restoration on this thing. and kind of brought it back to its former glory and found all the original model pieces that, the greeblies that were used to make it.
Yeah, they had
And
fully sort of analyzed, obviously when if things were missing, they just really perfect recreation of any, not recreation of like finding the missing bits and
Yeah,
pieces. Yeah.
and if they couldn't, they would cast one
Yep.
from another part of the ship. They really did it very lovingly, and it was great. And I worked did a bit of work for Propstore in the early days when I was trying to pay down my prop bills, writing for them a bit. So I would write copy and do things like this. But I at some point I wrote this story up. I intended interviews. There was an interview with one of the model makers. It's around somewhere. Maybe we can find the
Do I
link to
know
it.
this story correctly? Originally, they were the prop store. And one night you were took them out to like a fancy disco dinner kind of thing, and you were just like, prop store. It's simpler. Is
That's
that
what I
you?
did.
Yeah.
That yeah, that was me in my handsomer days when I looked like Justin Timberlake. um, and yeah, so I think maybe I listened in on the interviews, participated, transcribed the interviews. I can't remember exactly. I was definitely present for one interview about this ship and the restoration of it, because I remember doing that, and I kind of got to watch it happen, which was very exciting. And everybody knows I love this movie. And this thing is awesome. It's just massive. I mean, it is a
Yeah.
room, and I think that's the reason they did put it up to auction a couple years ago. And I think it there was somebody that was kind of considering it, but then ultimately didn't go for the bid button. But look, it's wonderful. And if this was a 3 foot model, uh, it would have, it would have broken all the records. It's
Yeah.
because
You
of what it
want
is,
it to be
so limiting.
this, and it's,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's, yeah.
yeah. You want it to be your X-wing, and and that's why this thing has the scale that it does when they film it. It does that because it's 11 feet.
Yeah.
It's good. It's nuts. But it's gorgeous, and God, what a cool design. Truckers in space, and it's just so evocative of that. That side of the film, the non-Giger part of the film, the Ron Cobb part
Yeah.
of Alien. This is so evocative of that.
There
I
are
just love it.
definitively some collectors that certainly, we've met, we know of that could obviously handle this, that, have
Yeah.
that kind of space. Boy, though, it does, and we say this a lot. Boy, it really feels like if there was ever a time for a museum to step forward, you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah, I mean,
curious.
we say this a good
Yeah,
amount on this podcast, but like, Mopop should be buying this,
yeah,
honestly. I mean, it's such a perfect thing for them, and if not them, the Academy, of course, because Alien is such an important film in science fiction history. Ridley Scott's oeuvre, he's still making films, but he's not going to be
I think
around
the
forever.
film is I think the movie's important, Scott's important, I think the sort of its place in model making history is important. I mean, there's a lot of reasons
Yeah,
so, but, unfortunately, it does just feel like the kind of thing where you kind of either need to be a museum or have museum-like space.
yes.
This is not, "I think I can squeeze it into our living room."
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah.
if you see this room that I'm in, for a frame of reference, if I put it in this room, the room would be the display for you could put it in this room, but then you would just invite people up here, and they would walk in the room, and they would be able to walk kind of around the Nostromo, and that you would have to
Would
take
it
all the
actually
cases
even
out.
fit with the
Yeah, it
slanted
would. It would.
wall?
It,
It would,
it,
okay.
it would. It would. I mean, it would feel. You
Tight.
probably want
Yeah.
it in a bigger space. You probably want it in a true like gallery space, but it's awesome. And
I would
I hope
like
somebody
one of our
buys it where you
listeners,
can go see it, where people can go see it. That would
if
be
any
the
of our
ideal.
listeners are good at Photoshop, can you take a still of Ryan sitting at his microphone and then put the Nostromo in the room behind
True
him
to scale.
as if it's just, like, filling the
Yeah.
room and he's,
Here,
like,
I'll do
leaned
that.
over
I'll
like
do
this.
this.
Yeah, exactly, like, he's really uncomfortable, and we're not
And
quite
then,
sure how he got to the desk.
yeah,
Like, if you
but he
just
bought
send
the
that in. Yeah,
Nostromo and he's divorced.
yeah.
So
Which he could put it in another room because no one lives with him now. He could put it in either of the 2
good,
children's
good
bedrooms
news.
because he haven't seen him in years, but, he's got the Nostromo. Yeah, and
That's
he's
right.
put it in his office. So, yeah.
That's right.
Um,
This is
no,
my daughter, Nostromo.
it is absolutely incredible. It is I don't know, to me, it's immediately recognizable. It is significant. I have loved every time I ever got to see it at Propstore. You know what I mean? I will like to say goodbye to it. I hope it goes somewhere good, but boy, what a just a wonderful piece. But the size, wow, just yikes! I don't know what else to say. The size is,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I have
yeah.
another potential Ryan divorce prop coming up in a few
Is
lots,
that
so we
the equally like
yeah.
the other large thing?
No,
I
it's
had
much
that.
smaller. That's how I
Yeah,
sell it. It's look
right.
how smaller it
I
is.
could have bought this other thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had them both more for, like, sort of the live show, sort of 2 pieces that you just can't buy, but I'm glad that they're both
Yeah.
on your list. Anything else? Where are you, or is it my turn? I'm not sure. Is that me?
21, I'm next.
21. Oh, I marked that too, so there you go. We are very in
Ding
sync. I
ding.
thought wonderful, wonderful. Bob Falfa's, screen match 55 Chevy license plate, the one and only, Harrison Ford
So
as the
cool.
race car gunslinger that comes into town to, drag against, John Milner. Really, really cool American
Named after
Graffiti.
John
Yeah.
Milius.
Oh, really? I don't think I
Yeah, yeah.
put duh, but I never put that together.
Yeah.
I wonder why they didn't even just go with Milius. I mean, it's not I don't know. But
Any
anyway.
similarities to people living or dead is purely
Mhm.
coincidental.
Uh, really nice looking.
Great
Obviously, you
piece,
can
great
see the
film.
tape on the back of it. I guess they have screen matched it 100%, which is just
Yeah,
wonderful.
it's great. And I
Uh,
I had one of these, Dave. I had the THX one of the unused, THX plate, which is on Milner's car, the yellow hot rod.
yeah,
And it's cardboard. It's not it's just like thick cardboard. It's not even, it's not even a real license plate, which that was a detail that I loved. And I'm reading the description really quickly for this because this looks
this
the
looks
same.
like it looks like cardboard from the back. I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
looking at it.
Yeah, that's my guess is it's the
Yeah.
same. And in
Did
a
you
great
get
way.
rid of your THX
I
or did you?
did.
Oh, you did. Okay, I don't didn't
Yeah.
remember if you did or didn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
I had
it was a year where I
regretted. I
bought a
know I
bunch,
know it
and
was unused. It
I
was like
think
sort of
that's
a
the thing that ultimately
right,
got
it was a
me.
backup, but I did sort of when those were around vaguely regret it. I think this is really cool for the Harrison Ford connection,
Yep.
and I that movie is
And
just a
the
wonderful
George
little
Lucas
movie. Yeah,
filmography, and it is a great movie too.
yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, see American Graffiti.
Okay, my next one is 50. Do you have anything before 50?
30.
Oh, okay, 30.
Yeah,
Oh,
I figured.
what? Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. This is Ryan's real dilemma, this auction. So this is the screen matched Batwing, the 6-foot motorized filming model.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to be consulted upon when the purchase was being thought about. I was very aware of this kind of all the way through. I got to go and witness some of the restoration work being done. I got to meet the restorer and see how everything was going. And I sort of saw it at multiple stages. And this thing is just goddamn awesome. I mean,
I
it's
thought the restoration was beautiful, but I mean, I didn't think it was so terrible to begin with, quite honestly, if I'm allowed to say
Correct,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the restoration was perfectly done because it made the all the bits work again, the flaps go, and the scissor that cuts my balloons and all that stuff work, and it's a pneumatic. Originally, it was all cable driven, and I think it was converted into an electrical driven thing so that it can it can work forever. The machine guns pop out and spin around, and Batman's head swivels. It's fucking amazing. It's such a great piece and one of my favorite films of all time. And I love it. And I'm just doing the like, I don't own a house right now. I would buy this thing and then be betting on the fact that like in some future period I would be able to house this and not have to give up all of my other props to do it. And I think that's just that's my dilemma as for the next month plus as we
Sure.
count
I
down
think
towards
there's
this thing.
and again, I don't know how much you've thought about the display of it in the house that doesn't exist, but I do believe that the way to make it work best, I'm not saying it's going to be the most pleasing to you, and that's up to you. But I think I would probably think about mounting it kind of, if you will, flat, which is
As the bat
as
symbol.
the bat symbol. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. The way
I
that
like that. I
moment,
mean
the
that's
way the moment in the moon.
mhm.
Um, I know the previous owner thought about that, and for whatever reason, when it was in that placement, if you will. And there's a small picture of it there, which I think looks fantastic. I don't know, thought you were missing something, but I don't know. It doesn't bother me. So I will simply say, if you think about it as a very large wall piece, as opposed to
Yeah.
a three-dimensional
That's the
piano.
problem is
Yeah,
when it's a piano. That's the thing
yeah.
when you're in the room with it, it's a freaking piano, and look, it's great, and you can walk around it and play with the box and all that. Yeah, well, I'm sure I will be, chewing your ear off about this as we as we march on down
If
toward
you ever
auction
win it,
day.
if you ever win it, and I
Yeah.
certainly think you should, but if you ever win it, the notion of in a room painting a wall yellow and just putting it on the
Oh, that
yellow, like it would like just one single wall,
Batman yellow.
Batman yellow, and then it sort of standing up, even if there was a way it could slide down, like you could move a table
Mm,
and make it three-dimensional or something. But it on a yellow wall would be the most badass thing in the world, and I would respect you forever. As
well,
opposed to now,
now, which is, from
I just
time to time.
barely stomach you. Yeah. No, it's incredible, but it's a lot. It's a
It's a
lot.
lot, it's a
Yeah,
lot, and it's not cheap either, but, as it should
yeah.
not be. It's glorious. Don't anybody bid on this,
I
or
do
bid or
think, I
whatever.
mean, it is one of these funny things when these pieces get so
Write me.
large. Yeah, when
Yeah.
these pieces get so large, I do think that the size does affect the price. I mean, I think again, if this were
If
three
this was the 3
feet,
foot, yeah.
there'd be a million.
There is
Right,
a 3
right.
footer, and it
And
just
were that
disappeared.
right, and were that to reappear, I think there's a mad dash for this piece. You know, a lot of people that we know some of them. I just think the size of this just takes people out of the equation, but the size is part of what makes it so damn incredible. Anyway, I do love it. Again, another piece I've gotten to visit and see,
Yeah,
and I will happily say goodbye to it, but I do love it. So yeah, I
yeah.
fantastic, just fantastic. Um, let's see, I'm moving along. You know what I was pleasantly surprised by, but I'm not going to stop. It's just as I'm moving forward, I don't love those Dawn of Justice movies, you know, the Batman
Mhm.
versus Superman, whatever. But I did get a kick out of the Batarang and just some of the hand props. You know, there's a grapple gun and some other there's like a
Yeah,
bunch of things. But
the grapple
I
gun
did,
isn't
yeah.
bad. You know what that grapple gun actually reminds me of?
Which
Is
one? The first one or the second
the
one? There's two.
44. Yeah,
Yep.
44, is, Rorschach's
Oh,
from
yes, I
like,
see
the
that.
way
I
I
see that.
imagine
Yep.
it in the comic book, that's sort of the way I see that, and I wonder if that had anything to do with the thinking around it. I mean, it is a
It's
Zack
sort of
Snyder.
also like a steampunk Blade Runner gun in a weird way too.
Yeah,
A
that's
little
true, like,
bit.
it's a
Yeah.
Sid Meady kinda design.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Anyway, I thought the Batarang was kind of interesting, and
Yeah.
it's one of those things where I have a couple of Batarangs and have often thought like, well, I doesn't don't you don't have to have everything from those movies, some of which are not as good, but a little Batarang collection could be a neat thing. I'm jumping to number 50, which is the Handbook for the Recently Deceased
Yeah.
from Beetlejuice. Um,
Are
I,
we,
I'm get
are we going to war over this, Dave? Are
We may
we,
go for like a little war.
okay.
Is this going next to the spell book? Is this like two books next to each other kind of a thing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think this one you kinda have to actually display up because it's smaller because it's a handbook,
Or
but,
maybe on a little an angle,
yeah.
or you paint a wall yellow and you mount it. Think
No,
about that.
you do a
You paint a
black
wall
and white
black and white stripe. Yeah,
stripe.
exactly. Yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Perfect, Dave. Thank you. Whole room.
I got a kick out of this because of the hole in the spine, which I'm assuming was for some sort of mounting or stunt or something. I'm not
Mm,
quite sure what or where, but I did want to peek back at the movie to see if I could figure out any sort of usage of any sort. Uh, I think we've all been waiting for one of these to
like,
pop
where's the
up,
book?
and
We keep saying it.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
here
here
it
it
is.
is. So, and dare I say, while I think this will go higher, a reasonable starting bid wherever
For
that
sure.
fits into the world.
5 to 10, yeah.
I do think people are looking for these more so. So wherever, I don't know, but I did like it, and yeah, I guess we've all been looking for this one for a while. So yeah, such is life.
Such
Uh,
is life.
yeah, I can only hope that by the time this comes up for bidding, you're laying with a meat cleaver in your back of your head because Caitlin has murdered you. That's
Has
all I
murdered.
can hope for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna
yeah.
be a Dawn of Justice Batarang, Dave.
Just
She's
wedged
gonna
into your skull.
she's gonna wait a couple of lots, bid, win, pay all in cash because she's about to get a giant life insurance settlement, and then she's gonna just cleave
To
me.
finish you off.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. Where are you next, my friend?
I just wanted to call that out because I love the movie, and I love that this thing is here. 60, the Bonnie Parker's
Yeah,
screen match
very,
shirt from
very
Bonnie and
cool.
Clyde
Yeah.
from the climactic sequence in the film that sort of is credited with starting New Hollywood.
Starting New Hollywood and revitalizing the squib industry.
Yes, giving birth
Um,
to the squib.
I actually was slightly surprised that there wasn't more blood on it, but, I just thought it was wonderful. Just really,
Yeah.
really great. Yeah, perhaps an earlier version, but, we talk about this from time to time when these kinds of sort of great 70s wardrobe pieces show up, and, we talk about them and neither of us does anything about it, and yet here is another really, really cool one. And, I don't know, it's like the second you see it, you see the movie, which, again, is sometimes tough with wardrobe, dare I say, but this works, for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was really cool. Were you as we're moving forward, did you care about, 61, as
I mean,
well?
we've talked about this a lot before. It's the photo matched
Right.
Deckard shirt, which I did think about earlier, but I think now, due to my recent Deckard acquisitions, I'm sort of moving down the road of doing that version of the
Which
getup.
makes perfect sense, of
So
course,
so
yeah.
it's a wonderful piece. It's not for me. I like that they brought the price down a little bit.
I feel
I
like they
now
brought
think
the
this is
price down. I feel like the low end is right-ish. I
yeah,
mean, a touch
a
lower
bit or
would
two.
probably yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll put it right. But look, that costume, the full costume that sold a couple years ago did gangbusters. The as did the baddie coat. Maybe things have changed, and maybe
Yeah,
this is a thing now. So we'll see. Look, it's a great piece, and there ain't a lot of Blade Runner stuff that belongs
right.
to Harrison Ford that's coming out. So let's see. It's like I said, it's a killer piece.
Yeah, just
Uh,
so wonderfully specific. Um, a couple more of those, Matthew Jurisic, I don't even know how you pronounce it, the matte paintings,
yeah,
those were in the last auction. Couple of
yeah.
nice ones. There's a Blade Runner, a couple of really cool movies, Dances
Ghostbusters,
with Wolves, Ghostbusters,
Close
the
Encounters.
original Star Trek motion pictures. The one I got a real kick out of was, Lot 71, the Young Frankenstein castle on the
Yes,
mountaintop. I thought that
yes.
was very evocative of that movie, of Frankenstein in general. That one jumped out at me.
And
I
that one
don't think
actually feels reasonably sized too. The other ones are so huge. Like
they
this
are
one is
big. They are
actually
big. Yeah.
this one, the Frankenstein one is 40 by 30. So it's sort of like a little bit bigger than a movie poster.
I mean, it would
Um,
fit under a Batwing. I mean, I think I don't have my
y-
tape measure, but I
Paint the
think it would.
wall.
Yeah. Lot 77. I did wonder about this. This is the Draconian Marauder from Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. I don't know if this was one of the pieces that came out of the Greg Jean auction, but there are definitely other pieces in this auction that I was sort of surprised to see so soon. I think there's a McCoy ensemble coming up later, just things
Mhm.
that looked like they were just purchased, last fall in the Heritage auction, and here they are.
Yeah,
I
it's
wonder
in
if
the
that
it's in the early it's teased early in the catalog, so we've sort of blown by it already. But is that tricorder new or is that from?
I thought that was a new one, so we
Okay.
will get to it. I did think that was a new one, but I was curious, I was wondering if and again, I'm not sure we'll ever get a full answer here, if this is people putting stuff in or if this was just Propstore doing a little prospecting in the Heritage auction, and buying some things that they thought were
Oh,
sort of,
interesting.
maybe perhaps bargain priced and are now putting them in here. I don't have that answer, and I don't think it matters. It was just curious, and I sort of thought it was interesting, and I
Yeah.
that's all I'm going to say about that. I marked number 83 for no good reason other than I love Casino. I'm not sure I'm bidding on sunglasses, but I did love the big oversized Ace Rothstein sunglasses. There are a couple other Casino items. They're all fun. At the right number, I'm interested, I guess is what I'll say about them. But I did get a kick out of them. They're very
Not the,
distinct.
not Nicky Santoro's stunt telephone that he used to,
That he beats the
beat
crap out of,
Don
Don
Rickles?
Rickles. Yeah, I thought about that too. Again, I don't know, I guess the phone is a phone and the sunglasses to me are a little more Ace specific. I'm not sure what I'm grasping at here, but
Yeah.
I did like them. So anyway,
Yeah.
wherever
Okay.
that fits in. Lot 99 is John McClane, Bruce Willis's bloodied parka from Die Hard 2. I I know Die Hard 2 is not Die Hard 1, but much in the way I have a soft spot for Jaws 2, I think Die Hard 2 is the Jaws 2
Okay.
of Die Hards, in that it's kind of sort of just remaking the first one, and I mean, not that they all aren't. Um, but I thought the twist was neat. I thought airport, snow, whatever. I like the twist. I enjoy the action. Great casting. For me, it holds up better than a lot of the ones that came later. So as time has gone by, I enjoy it more so.
Mm.
And I just always loved this sort of parka that he kind of ends up in the back end of the movie. It always reminded me a little bit of Han Solo on Hoth a little bit. I always wondered if they were thinking that, if someone in the costume department or even Bruce
Okay.
Willis was like, like cool, like it'll be like Han Solo. Let's not get into the whole brown blue nonsense. But I just thought this was great. And
It
I
looks brown to
always,
me, Dave.
yeah, exactly. And I always just like this jacket. So I'm calling it out
All right,
as it's
fair
just
enough.
a
I would
fun
not think
piece.
you would be
Yeah.
calling this out. I always say Die Hard is a better film than Lethal Weapon, but Lethal Weapon 2 is a much better sequel than Die Hard
Oh,
2.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah. Die Hard, sorry, Lethal Weapon 2 may have even sort of improved upon it in its
Yeah.
own way with Pesci and whatnot.
Yeah.
Although I do still like the first one. But yeah, where are you next? Are you
111.
111? I
Yeah.
thought so. I thought so.
I just
Pretty
love this.
wonderful. Yeah.
This is the Stunt Necronomicon Ex Mortis from Evil Dead 2. It's so rare to see anything from Evil Dead that's not a zombie, a prosthetic,
Like our
and
little
this
skeleton or something or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
like one of
yeah.
those. Yep.
And this is the key prop. This is the story prop. This is like the thing you would have to represent that movie. And it's a stunt one, and it's been a bit restored and all that. But god damn, it's so cool. It's so cool. And who would think this even existed anymore? I mean, that was a low budget
I just
film
love
from
that
the
you can
80s.
actually
And
open it up and look at some of
yeah,
these
yeah, yeah, yeah.
pages. This
Now
is quite
this
a
book
I was about to say,
goes
this
with
is quite a book collection you're
yeah,
building of
yeah,
like,
yeah, my
is it
skin book
I was about to
collection.
say just books of human flesh? Is that the
Yeah,
category now? Yeah.
yeah. Books to summon the
Pretty
dead.
wonderful. Pretty wonderful.
Love it.
Yeah.
Healthy estimate, but I bet this does it because I just think, like a Greg Nicotero type who we know does a bit of collecting. Like this has got to be some of these horror guys. This has to be their like proto film, right?
We have got to, by the way, I know we keep talking about it, and we bumped into him at San Diego last year and mentioned it to him. We must get Greg Nicotero on the
Yeah,
show, both just for his own experiences, but also the collector in him would be
yeah.
really, really fun. So Greg, we're going to be reaching out to you. Not that I don't think
Dreams
you're
are made of
listening, but yeah.
podcasts at gmail.com.
Really wonderful piece. It has a diehard following. Speaking of diehard, and I
Yes.
do believe, again, a healthy estimate, but I will not be shocked in the least. I just think
Oh, I
the
bet it go.
following is, yeah, the following is there and then some.
I bet it goes
Wherever that
above
fits
the
in.
high estimate, Dave.
Yeah, I think you have to be prepared for that one way or another.
Yeah.
I think you do. 113, the Ferris Bueller license plate. I wondered if that was another Planet Hollywood piece.
Yeah, because I've
I
seen that
thought
around.
maybe,
Yeah.
I'm not sure, or if that was another. My next one was 118. This is my week of jackets. There's a couple of pieces that they have of Ed Norton Fight Club costumes, and I always love that sort of mini trench coat that he has. That's how I like to think of him, where he's sort of stumbling around
Yeah.
trying to make heads and tails of everything. It kind of
Also like
very,
Han
yeah,
Solo.
that's true, very much like his sort of Bespin color, Bespin gray,
Mhm,
right? Is that what you're thinking?
mhm.
Uh, a little longer, but yeah, very cool. These are very reasonable numbers on, I think they're going to go much higher than this. They're not perhaps as sexy as the crazy
That's
Brad Pitt
Tyler Durden.
outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Tyler stuff, but hey, it is Tyler too,
It is
right?
Tyler Durden. Spoiler,
Technically
sorry.
speaking, yeah, sorry everyone. Sorry, assholes, if you still haven't seen that movie. Just give up your prop collection if you haven't seen Fight Club. Come on, man. It's crazy at this point. Anyway, I like that jacket. So lots of jackets this week. Jackets for me, books for you.
Great.
Yeah.
And
Where are you?
giant ships.
And giant ships and yellow walls. Where are you next?
I hate Flash Gordon, but this is the coolest prop I've ever seen from it. 123. I did not mark it, but I just wanted to call it out, and the fact that it's screen matched, I just think that's very cool. General
I thought
Cletus's,
I
uh,
appreciate it. I don't love it the way some people do, but I do appreciate it. I like all the props. I've never pulled the trigger on any of them. Over the years, I've had various like, guns and stuff offered to me.
yeah.
Lord Vulcan, Brian Blessed as the winged Hawkeye and whatever.
Mhm.
Anyway, I do really get a kick out of it. I've never bought anything. This stuff all looks great. I don't know what else to say. It just all really looks great. Uh, Another Jason mask, some Ferris Bueller stuff. Where are you next? Where am I next? I don't even know.
I'm 143 next. I was just gonna call out 130 as we pass it. That's a very cool prop. Jaime
Yes.
Lannister's, golden hand from Game of Thrones. It's very, very cool.
And you really see the work on it. I know we talked about when we had, what's her name on the other day, talking about the armor, in,
Caroline
House of the
McCall,
Dragon.
the great
Yeah.
designer of
Um,
House of the Dragon.
and she was going on about some of like the dragon scales on the armor and stuff. I'm not sure I ever realized that his hand was this ornate, and
Mm.
it's a pleasure to see it. So I thought that was really cool. I think I've called this out in other auctions in the past because I do like this movie, but 132, the darkness animatronic lion from the Ghost in
Yes,
the
that's very
Darkness,
cool. I
I
love
get a
that movie.
kick out of that. Never gonna buy it. I mean, it's also looks large. I don't need a large don't need a large lion in
But
my living
Dave,
room. Yeah,
Yellow
yellow
Wall.
wall, yellow wall, the Serengeti, yellow wall, Serengeti. Anyway, I did get a kick out of it.
Yes. A
Yeah,
great movie, again, if you haven't seen it.
really
Ghost in the
wonderful
Darkness.
movie. I cannot believe that these Lady Ghostbuster pieces are still bouncing around. I sort of these are 2001 forks. I've grown tired of them. I will simply say. Um, I didn't call out anything specific here, but I thought this gladiator
The
section was
Gladiator
pretty
collection
cool.
is
Yeah,
incredible. I called
yeah.
out the Tigress of Gaul helmet just because I think that's one of the coolest helmet designs in the history of film, and, it's awesome, and I don't know whether it was this one, but at some point I knew, one of the people in the family, so to speak, had this, and I got to hold it and play with the face mask
Oh
that,
wow. Okay.
slides up and down, and it is so cool, and I think this is gonna do gangbusters because it's just such a wreck, even though it's,
It's funny because it's
not the
not
main
Ridley. Yeah,
character.
it's not Ridley, but it's pretty fantastic. Yeah.
Russell, you
Oh,
mean,
sorry,
right?
Russell. I said Ridley. Sorry.
Ridley
Apologies.
was
Yeah.
directing the film. But yeah, and it's funny because Sven Ole Thorson, Conan DNA, because he
Yep.
plays Thorgrim in
I
Conan the
still
Barbarian,
have his hammer, his
bodybuilder.
big hammer.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, from Conan.
But
Um,
a bunch of cool gladiator stuff, Skeletorius, helmet, Joaquin Phoenix, the final battle costume, Commodus's battle costume, a
Sword,
great Maximus
shields. Yeah.
sword and shield from the final arena battle. Like, you can really build out your Maximus. I bet the trailer dropped today, new movie coming very
Do
soon.
you
I
think
think there's
that's
gonna be
why this is sort of
for
popping up? Do you
sure,
think someone is
for
sort
sure.
of jumping
Yeah, and
on that? Yeah.
Beetlejuice too, Dave. I think that's the reason that
Oh,
book
that's a good
finally
point.
showed.
I wasn't
Yeah.
thinking about that. Very good point. Yeah, I just thought this gladiator stuff was really really neat. The Maximus, what do they call it? The cure, how do you pronounce it?
Curious.
Curious. I thought was really particularly neat.
Yes.
145. I thought that was really gorgeous. Anyway, I liked it all. Really lovely section. Um, we've seen this piece or one of them. If I don't know if it's the same one at this point, but the 151 Data's stunt suit from the Goonies.
Yeah, so
I
cool.
puts a smile on my face every time. We have seen this before. I don't know if this is a repeat or what, but I always enjoy seeing it, and I yell it out. So there you go. We did see it. Where are you next, my friend?
155.
155, which is
Harry Potter's light up
light up.
wand from Prisoner of Azkaban. I just think this is very
The
cool
good
because
one.
it's
The
the
good one.
light up. It's the good film. It's the Alfonso Cuarón one where the filmmaking really takes a big step up. You can tell suddenly you're in the hands of an auteur that really has a lot of verve and confidence. And it's a great film. And also, these light up wands. This one, there are a lot of problematic Potter wands around. And this is not one of them. I think this,
I'm gonna
if you're
register
looking
that
for,
website, I think, though, problematicpotterwands.com, and, I think that'll be good
it's
to
like,
have, yeah.
cats that look like Hitler.com. Uh, uh, which I don't know if it's still around, but it was a website and it was delightful. Um, yeah, I just think that's really cool. And as a person that's now in a house of converted Harry Potter fans, these things are all now suddenly on the radar. So I don't think I'm going to be bidding on this one, but I do love it, and I do keep an eye on this stuff now.
I did think it was really neat, the light up in particular. How does one say this? I look, I think Propstore is going out of their way with these things to double and triple check them, because I think these days, unfortunately, you have to. That's the easiest way I can express that.
Yeah,
I think the light up ones, perhaps a little harder to fake, which is a bonus wherever that fits in.
yeah.
Uh, so I took note of them. I don't know if I'm gonna. Luckily, my kids don't care as much about Harry Potter anymore. I still like it.
Mm,
I do always think about the fact, that the big Harry Potter, multiple miniseries is coming, which of course means there'll be all. I'm curious. Will the wands look the same, different? I mean, I know they won't be
yeah.
the same, but will they try and differentiate themselves, or will it sort of fall back into a similar look? I'm curious about that. I
Yeah.
just always wonder about those kinds of things.
I don't know. We shall see.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated. They're going to be neighbors of ours at Leaves and
That's so
Studios.
you'll get a sense of that. Very
Yeah,
cool. I guess we need to stop on 173, which I'm not sure either of us is specifically bidding on, but it is of note, right?
it
Wouldn't you say?
is
Yeah.
awesome,
Just
and
fantastic. Yeah.
this is new to market. It's an Indiana Jones screen and photo match fedora,
Yep.
from stunt performer Dean Ferradini, who I'm guessing passed away, because it does give a
It gives
birth
a
and a death
date, 2023,
date.
unfortunately. Yep.
Sadly, but yeah, and some bunch of great photos, I guess, that were not previously published of him working on the film and being indie, and it's just great. And look, this is a screen match fedora. I mean, I'm so grateful that I have mine and that I got it when I got it. I think this thing is going to do gangbusters. It should. I mean, this thing, this is an
This
icon of an
is
icon.
Yeah,
So,
and this is everything you want, and the match is just immaculate. The match is
yep.
just perfect. Um, and it's really, I mean, it's a great hat, but it's also a great hat from a number of great sequences. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, on top of everything else.
Yeah, and Temple of Doom is a great film. I mean, it gets poo-pooed, but it's one of these things where it's like Return of the Jedi. Like, everybody sort of turned their nose up at Return of the Jedi until they started making other Star Wars films. And Temple of Doom, I think it's a great adventure film with a great villain,
Yeah.
and it just was dark, and it wasn't Raiders, and it didn't have I think the MacGuffin in it isn't as exciting. The stones aren't as exciting as the Ark of the Covenant or the Holy Grail, but it's just an excellent adventure film, and really scary and really exciting.
Yeah,
And
really
again, the
scary,
best
which
villain,
is a
Bolaram
wonderful
is the
different.
best villain
Yeah, it's a
in.
different flavor, but, like,
Yeah.
there are solid scares in Raiders, but this one ups that ante, and I think it's one of the elements that really kind of went a little bit away in 3, although 3 is still a great movie for, character reasons and Sean Connery reasons, but certainly in these later films just completely went away. The notion of the sort of like, I know there's a lot of aliens and stuff now, but just that, and time travel, but, and it's scary because I don't like it, but it's not scary. I also wanted to point this out just because I think, there was the jacket, the indie jacket in the previous, Prop
Right.
Store auction that was a Vic Armstrong jacket that I guess they did not have any. I guess Harrison did not specifically wear it. I mean, he might have worn it somewhere, but it was a Vic jacket. And this is coming from, Dean Ferrandini's family, and he was the stuntman, but it is on Harrison as well. In case,
Yeah.
read your description here. Just understand what this is. This is used a whole bunch in the movie, worn by Harrison Ford, and the stuntman, just to
Yeah,
make
yeah, and it
no
it
bones
has all the
about
right
it. Yeah,
markings inside the hat,
yeah,
all the things you look for, the IJ, and I believe the size is also, correct, for, for Harrison. I can check my hat, and
yeah.
we can verify that. But yeah, this is a Harrison Ford hat, period.
I also enjoyed 174, the Shankara Stone.
Yep.
They're not claiming any specific screen match, but I'd be wonder and curious if that was. We think like some of those previous
Right.
stones have found screen matches, so it seems it would behoove you to see. Although they did probably try and do that, but I did like the Shankara
They're cool
Stone. It's
props, yeah.
yeah,
As you're preparing to bid in the Propstore Entertainment Memorabilia Live Auction taking place from August 15th to the 18th, we wanted to remind you of all the different ways that you can bid. There's live in-person bidding. The general public is invited to bid live on the first day of the auction on August 15th at the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles. This is the day that many of the bigger ticket items are auctioned off, and it's exciting to be there in person when all the live bidding goes down. You can register on site at the Peterson for bidding. Please note, live in person bidding will not be offered on days 2 through 4. You can also bid online, where most people bid at propstore.com for each auction. You can bid two different ways live at propstore.com. In advance, you can place advance bidding online anytime before the live bidding starts, and you can bid live, which is what I said before. If you're following along on your computer on the auction days, it will prompt you for the most current bid as the auctioneer is calling the auction. You can bid with the click of a button. It's very dangerous, folks. Propstore will be mirroring this auction on iCollector, Invaluable, and Live Auctioneers, and Sale Room, the sort of third-party bidding sites, so you can bid online there as well if you prefer any of those, although additional charges do apply. There's also phone bidding, my preferred method. If you choose to bid via phone, a member of the Propstore team will call you about 5 to 10 lots before your scheduled lot. You'll have awkward chat with them as they try to fill the air and space and talk about the current lots being auctioned off. And this way, you can be sure not to miss your bidding on your lot. If you'd like to register for phone bidding, please do so in advance. There are finally written absentee bids. If you can't be present at the auction or bid online, you can just fill out an absentee form with your highest bid, and the auctioneer will place your bids in the live bidding session for you. This is also a good methodology for those of us who don't trust ourselves with the bidding paddle. You can just set it and forget it. Leave a live bid, walk away, and then don't mortgage your house afterwards. One big advantage is that in the case of a tie, the absentee bids take precedent over all other bids. So if you both bid $150,000, the absentee bidder with the $150,000 bid takes the win unless the live bidder is willing to go above that. For this and all other exciting information, go to propstore.com right now and register for the auction so you'll be all set to bid on the big event starting August 15th and going through the 18th. And don't forget, you can continue to use your Dave10 or Ryan10, and we all know which one you guys are going to use, code to get 10% off a buy now purchase at propstore.com all year long. Get some additional buy now items you've been eyeing on top of your auction winnings, because Lord knows you haven't spent enough money already. Good luck to all those bidding, and please join us for a live pre-auction episode and the stuff dreams are made of coming very soon. I flagged the Captain America shield 212. I just think that's very cool.
yep, agree,
The metal
agree.
shield with those leather straps. I got to put one of those on when I was up at Prop Store UK doing the videos for their last auction. And man, it's just a cool piece. It's
Yeah,
just like,
I've got one in my collection with a screen match, and
yeah.
it's pretty
I
wonderful.
honestly
Yeah.
like. I'm not, I don't collect on those films and all that. I'm more of an X-Men guy than Avengers guy. But if I was buying the one gotta have it Avengers prop, I think it would be Captain America's shield.
It's pretty iconic. I mean, just to represent all of those
All of them,
films
yeah.
in once. Yeah, in one piece. Agree. It was interesting. 228, 229. These are pieces. I don't know if they're
Can
from
I
the
ask
Joe.
a
Oh
question
yeah,
before we
you
blow
may.
past all the comic art? Can
Yeah,
you explain to me? So I look
yeah,
at 216, which is a hand-drawn John Romita Sr.
yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man cover illustration.
Sure.
So it's one of the collections.
Yep.
It's not a comic cover. But to me, a Romita Spider-Man, that's a big deal, and that estimate feels low to me. Can you explain to me, like,
Well,
are these things
it's
considered
actually still pretty healthy considering it is a in the grand scheme of things, sort of later piece, which is not what the collectors want. The collectors want
okay,
John Romita from the the 60s and 70s. That's what the collectors want. So it's
okay,
very much, I think, about that prime Amazing Spider-Man period. and also some of the key pieces that he did for Marvel, be it Marvel marketing or Marvel book covers and stuff. Again, the 70s. This is a really neat piece. Look, I will say I can't swear to you that if this is not a piece. Sometimes on first look, I go, "Oh, that's John Romita Senior." This one maybe isn't 100% for my eye. It is John Romita Senior, but I'm not sure it's as I always think of him as like a human style guide, and I mean that in a compliment. Like he
Mm,
became the house style of Marvel.
mhm.
And I don't know, maybe it's the fact that it's not such a full panel that it's kind of, cropped in for this cover. Again, it's wonderful and has a nice price on it. I don't know. To me, it's not the be all. It's not
Yeah, I
my.
didn't think it
It's
was
not.
the be
Yeah,
all and end all.
yeah.
I know Ramita Spider-Man is a big deal.
I think that's
So,
still, the notion that that could hit, 30,000 for something that is not it's a collected book, not that anyone specifically remembers. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's
okay,
not a
okay.
piece with a lot of nostalgia. So it's maybe somebody's Ramita piece, but it's nobody's dream cover, I guess is the easiest way of expressing what I think why the price is the price. Does
Fair,
that make sense?
fair, very fair.
Cool. I went to 233 as I'm continuing to look at wardrobe that I will never buy. Uh, this is Leonard Shelby's very recognizable suit
The
from
suit
Memento,
from
the
Memento, yeah.
suit. And 234, one of his pocket notes to himself. But
Yeah.
I always love this suit. Again, I'm not buying this, but I got a real kick out of seeing it. And I don't know, at some point or another, much like Stanley Kubrick, I'm getting the sense that Chris Nolan is going to demand that all the props from his movies are destroyed. So get them while you can. I can't
Got 'em
prove
while you
that,
can.
but get them while you can. Um,
Um, yeah, I'm gonna call out, suits that I already own. So
yeah,
235 and
these were really
236,
nice.
these
Yeah.
are very, very cool. Agent J and Agent K, Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones from Men in Black 1, the first movie, glorious labeled. Yes, they're just a black suit, but it's the last suit you'll ever put on, so it's, very important. And, I have those, and I continually open, these catalogs and flip very quickly to the M's just to see if this is the one that we're going to offer up some hardware from these films. And look, there's some great hardware from Men in Black
I
3.
was
It's
gonna say
actually,
I was up at Propstore and I got to hold 238, which is young Agent K, played by
yeah,
Josh Brolin, his
his standard
1969
issue.
standard issue energy gun. And the lights on it, I love the design, and the lights on it are fantastic. It's not a neuralizer, I understand that, but I
Yeah.
did get a real kick out of that piece in particular, but it
Yeah, and the
is, you're right,
shotgun,
yeah.
the K the
Yep.
K shotgun 239 is great too. They're great pieces. I want stuff from that first movie.
Is there a Men in Black yet that Will Smith is not in? Can I get something from that one?
Yeah, Men in Black
That's where I
International.
Oh, perfect, perfect. I'm gonna corner the market on that one.
Mhm.
I think it's gonna have a real upswing. Yeah, I just not sure I'm collecting on him so much anymore.
I
Sorry. Sorry, yeah. Moving on. For some reason, which I'm now learning, is that 245 Miss Piggy gloves are the C3PO hands of Muppet World. I don't know if we've ever discussed that, but it seems like any opportunity where they were asked to put something into some sort of a charity auction or auction something off, they gave up usually a pink Miss Piggy long glove, some signed, some unsigned. But I feel like this is the third or fourth different one I've ever seen.
There you go.
Years ago, I went to a 25th anniversary Muppet Show thing here in Los Angeles. They had a big expo in Santa Monica of props and costumes, and then they did a sort of a theater performance night that I got to go to, which was very, very fun. I actually recently found a T-shirt from that, which if you're interested in, you please just please email me. I'd like to get rid of this in my great closet clean. I found this T-shirt. I found
Can you
that,
write
and I
William Shatner in it for me?
yes, exactly. But the two interesting T-shirts that I'd forgotten I had were this, which I'll never wear, 25th anniversary Muppet Show thing, from the big LA celebration, and then number two, when David Duchovny hosted uh, Saturday Night Live in 1995. So
Oh,
it
that's
was
great.
early in
That's
the
when
X
he
Files.
that's when he
Yeah.
played, Over the Hills and Far Away, right? The Zeppelin song, and then he ended up smashing the guitar, or is that a different hosting
No,
job?
I think that's his second time
Okay,
around. That
okay.
doesn't sound familiar to me. This one, among the things I vaguely remember was, which I did enjoy and, helped write, was, Michael McKean did an Adam West Batman complaining about the Batman movies, uh, and then but all very tan, like and stuff, and then Duchovny came out as sort of an older Robin to help him out at the end, which was very funny. We
That's
didn't
good.
really do a full X-Files sketch. I think we did sort of a conspiracy monologue where he confronted like Lorne and the smoking man, I think, in Lorne's office. But I think at the time I was like the only person at the show that had ever seen the X-Files. Like they booked him and no one had really, maybe a couple of the other nerds, but I was way into it, and it's one of the few times I was ever invited to the host dinner. I was at the show for 3 years, and I kind of got invited. I was like the show nerd. I was invited to the Duchovny dinner. Um, and I
That's great.
kind of think Lauren didn't come to that dinner, which was sort of vaguely insulting. I don't know if Mr. Duchovny remembers that insulting thing. And his old classmate JFK Jr. dropped by the table, which was very funny. Anyway, at
Oh,
the
that's
end of
funny.
the week, he gifted me this X Files crew shirt from the set, and
Oh, cool.
I found that. So if anyone's interested, you let me know.
Okay.
Make an offer. This stuff
Yeah.
price to move. Anyway, it was very nice of him, and
I
I
might
did
want
enjoy
that shirt,
working with
Dave.
him. All right, I'll send you a picture. 283, just to call it out, the leather jacket from Seven, just as part of my Fincher wardrobe and whatnot that I'm not bidding
Fincher,
on.
Brad Pitt related
Yeah,
wardrobe?
exactly. Brad Pitt related wardrobe. I just thought it was really, really neat. Again, I just don't know what else to say. It's just cool. Love that movie. There was a Saturday Night Fever jacket, but for me, it's the Seven jacket. Where are you next?
We should
Sorry.
also just, Dave, we should just
Oh
call out
yeah.
the cover piece 280, which is the screen matched ghost faced costume
Yep.
from Scream. This is, I don't know where this landed in your pop culture, but you know, I was 16, 17 when this movie came out. This movie was a big deal in my generation growing up. I saw it in the theater. I remember seeing it. I remember being delighted and horrified and surprised by it. I mean, I'm not a horror collector. This is not for me, but this is such a seminal movie, and I have a sense memory around the time that this movie came out and how groundbreaking it was, and I just think it's very, very cool that they found this and that it's matched. I just
Right.
think that's really great.
As I think our audience well knows, I actually hate horror movies. I am a big scaredy cat. They frighten the F out of me. And yet I saw this movie. I was very scared by this movie, but I was also laughing a lot with it. I actually think this movie is pretty darn perfect. I hate sort of what it wrought in a way. I think
Yes.
it brought on these sort of
I know what you did
hyper
last summer.
aware pop culture kind
Yeah.
of both horror movie, but it kind of did that to a lot of genres in general.
Yeah.
So it was not, that part of it was not fun, but I think it was a pretty wonderful experience. I think this is such a distinct and wonderful piece. I was just reading something about the fact that I guess Bob Weinstein, the good Weinstein. Are we allowed to say, is that, was that what he is, or the
I think
slightly less crappy Weinstein? I don't know.
I think
Yeah, I
it's
know.
all bad, Dave.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all bad. Yeah. Anyway, the other Weinstein, I guess, right up until he saw, like, I guess the first sequence cut together, thought the mask was a giant mistake and was trying to get them to shoot like alternates, like do two different versions and, typical studio stuff. And I believe this story is real. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I wasn't there, but just so
Yeah.
iconic.
My favorite,
Yeah,
one of my favorite cut notes I've ever gotten, Dave, is it was on Colony when we shot an episode every 7 or 8 days, depending on whether we were squeezing an episode to try to save a day.
sure.
Which is we don't like the character's hat was the note in the cut,
Right.
and I was about to write back a half-page
Yeah.
reply about, believe it or not, actually, in our 7-day shoot, we didn't do a thing where we have alternate costumes for all the
Yeah.
characters that we put them in to try to see what it was. Just it wasn't like there was no requested action. It was simply we don't like the hat,
Yep.
and it just made
Were
me
you
think of your
stopped?
dual
Were you
screen match.
did I don't know, did Carlton grab your arm and just say, "Don't, there will be better fights to fight"? Did someone counsel you, or did you just give up?
I think I stopped around in a rage for a bit and then just ignored it like I was wont to do with those things. It's like
Fair enough, yeah.
it is a good gear to be able to go to as a taker of notes, I will just
Yeah.
say.
I think I've told you, but maybe the audience will enjoy this. There was an episode of Seinfeld that we were running behind on, and so it had not gotten the laughs added. We would record live in
Mhm.
front of the audience and often put in just put in the live laughs, but sometimes in the course of editing different pieces and whatnot. So you kind of took the laughs out and then kind of put them back in at sort of the end. And at some point or another, the executives sort of wanted to see it, and we're like, well, the laughs aren't in it. And I told you this, we got the full. We have been making television for 40 years. I think we can watch a cut without laughs. And then sent it to them, and of course got the note
It's
back that
not
the
funny.
episode seemed a little dry and didn't quite seem as funny as the other ones. We're just like, you fucking morons. But anyway, good times at Seinfeld. I
Yeah.
enjoyed, by the way,
And of course,
this is.
that's the lost Seinfeld episode. You guys decided not
No,
to
we
air
did.
it,
Yeah,
right?
we heard
Because
it wasn't funny, so we
yeah.
killed it. No, it aired and everyone liked it, whatever it was.
Do you remember which
Um,
episode it was?
I don't. I
Mm,
don't.
that'd be a good one.
I know I was there, so I know
Yeah, it's from
where it
that
is.
period.
It's the
Yeah.
back end. Yeah. And I want to say it was Larry's last year or the first year of No Jerry. I'm sorry, of No Larry. So I think it's one of those 2 years. So it's like 95, 96 or 96, 97. But I honestly, beyond that, I
Okay.
don't remember. I
Okay.
can ask Jeff and Alec, they might remember. I very much enjoyed the fact seeing 290, which is
Oh,
Burt
I did
Reynolds.
288 first.
Oh, go for it. Yeah.
Scatman Crothers screen match jacket from The
Yes. Very
Shining.
cool. Very cool.
Dick
Yeah.
Halloran when he gets an axe buried in it.
Now imagine that was blue. That jacket was a
Ah,
blue parka. Think about that. Yeah.
Yellow Wall?
Yellow wall, yellow wall, blue background, and the axe is neat. It has had a little work on it, I guess. So,
Yeah.
that's why it's a little priced a little more reasonably. Probably not for me because of the work. One of these days I'll get one, but
I'm holding
not
out for
this
a screen
axe.
matched axe. I
Yeah.
think that's the thing that I will spend the extra and go for it when one
Yeah.
shows up that's matched. I think that's my
And
hope.
I think it will. It will. I was just gonna say in 290, this is the Bandit shirt from Smoking the Bandit 2, Burt Reynolds. And I thought it was a Bill Murray shirt from Kingpin. I think they dress at the same store. That was really all I wanted to point out to the audience.
Smoking the
Um,
Bandit.
starting with 294, they have the Doug Trumbull collection,
Yeah.
which is really fascinating.
Visual effects master.
Digital effects master,
Silent
silent
Running?
running.
Space
But
Odyssey?
the Space Odyssey photos were just really incredible. And it's certainly,
Yes.
I'm not going down this path, but I'd like to see them all. Do you know what I mean? I wish I could have copies of all of them. I thought
Yes.
they were just really wonderful to see. I got also a real kick out of 308, which is the Ralph McQuarrie different illustrations and concept art for the Back to the Future ride,
Yeah.
which is a great ride, and like sort of the uh, the DeLorean in various prehistoric times with a
Yeah.
dinosaur, which if you've been on the ride, came to fruition, and I thought that was really cool. And I liked 312, which are the Close Encounters credit transparencies for the end titles.
Yeah, very
There's a
cool.
Richard Dreyfuss there that might go cheap now that he's been canceled. Anyway, all this stuff I thought was just really neat. This collection, I just wanted to call out this collection. I thought it was really neat. Um, and that's followed by the Michael and Denise Okuda collection of Star Trek stuff. A little bit more of the later Trek stuff, so not as interesting to me, although I did get a kick out of 324, which are next gen credits. I'm very into credits. I think they're
Yeah.
really, really neat.
Yeah. Richard
Anyway,
Dreyfuss
was there
also in those
yes,
credits.
Richard Dreyfuss as Jean-Luc Picard, the original Jean-Luc Picard. He shot for 2 weeks. It wasn't working. Um, was there anything in here that
We have to
that
fight the Borg.
I like that. Aye,
Yes.
aye, Captain. Yeah. Um,
Well, no, he would be the captain, so he would be saying,
oh, okay. I
"Make
guess
it
so. You're right.
so."
Yeah. Anything in this next gen sort of universe in here that hit you, or anything of this
This is a
Akuda
very
collection?
cool, very, very cool collection. I mean, the scripts, God, that would be really cool to have, like, you know, I don't know, season 5, which I think is probably the best season of that show, when everything fired on all cylinders. Um, that would be very cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I guess the dedication plaques, I don't know, I mean, yes, it's all very cool.
Yeah,
Just
I just didn't know if anything was, again, this is your area more, if there was something that was like that they had
yeah.
broken loose where you're like, finally, but I guess.
No, I mean, the Akutas are legends, and that's very cool, and certainly the provenance coming from them makes this stuff, I think, even more so important, and I do love all the complete script collections, I think that's very cool. I mean, ideally, wouldn't it be cool if somebody got all of those and then they were all in one place,
Sure.
right? That would be neat, but that's not me.
No, there's a
I've dodged
wonderful
script collecting, to date, and I
a
don't need to
wonderful
start that
collector
problem.
out of I think Texas these days, Fuller French, who used to own all the Planet of the Apes costumes that I met many years ago when we were doing the Charlton Heston on Saturday Night Live. I think I've invoked his name before, and he
Mhm.
has a wonderful script and paper collection. I wonder if that's something he'll be interested
Oh,
in.
yeah, interesting.
I
Okay.
hope he ends up with that. Do you care about 339? It's a Picard costume, but from Generations, the movie, or that
No.
doesn't do it for you? It's too
No,
different. Yeah.
yeah, we
Okay.
sort of talked about that with the First Contact, I think, in another
Yeah.
auction that we were covering this
I thought
season.
maybe this was closer
It is,
to
it
the
certainly is, but it's just not. I want the one
I
I want is, I think I've talked about this, is the sort of suede jacket over the gray tunic, his away captain,
right.
uh, get up
Away
from season
uniform, yeah,
5 and
sure.
on. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one I
Nope,
want.
and then fuck Generation, just fuck it.
Yeah.
Uh, 356, the season 3 tricorder, I thought this was fantastic. I'm not sure I have
Yes.
anything to add. This is just fantastic. Really nice. Uh, the phaser, the tricorder, and the communicator from that original Star Trek, I can't sit here. I have no idea at this point, like how relevant that original show will be down the line. I can't speak to that, but for me, it still is. And
Yeah.
I'm an
Is
old
it for
man and I
you?
still love it. I'm certainly going to watch it. I'm certainly going to watch it. The previous Hero tricorders had some action, but it was a limited audience. So maybe everybody got one at the Greg Jean auction that wanted one, and this one maybe moves a little
Yeah.
bit. I 359, which I think also was in the, well, I shouldn't say also, I think the 359 was in the Jean auction. I think this is the same one, unlike
This is
the
very cool, yeah.
tricorder. This was great. This was something I had looked at. I'm surprised to see it here. I will keep my eye on this as well. As I've said before, I have a Kirk and a Spock, and I am looking for an original series McCoy. And obviously, this is that. We believe that this was worn by McCoy and then probably other characters as well, as they did reuse certain
In the sick
things.
bay. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I do like it. It's not obviously the matching blue tunic that would be the same sort of as Spock's, in the sense it's not the long sleeve, but it's very memorable in that sort of that look for McCoy. It doesn't have the undershirt, but you'd be able to do a replica undershirt under that just for the heck of it. So
Yeah.
anyway, I thought it was really, really cool.
Very cool.
Where are you next? Are you Star
I'm
Warsy?
Star Wars, yeah.
Okay. No, I kind of jump right into the Star Wars stuff. I mean, I got a kick out of these 399, these Phil Tippett hand-drawn
Yeah, I
cantina
figured you would,
creatures.
yeah.
They're really neat. Unfortunately, they're not necessarily ones that were realized in the
Yeah.
cantina, but I still love the idea of, Phil Tippett hand-drawn anything. So, I will take it. And obviously just the part of it as, the sort of production history. So I thought that was pretty neat. I got a kick out of the. It's not, to me. It's not an important weapon, but I did get a kick out of Lot 400, which is Ponda Baba, Walrus
Walrus
Man's
Man.
the other gun. Which there's the whole thing where when the arm gets cut off, it's sort of like it's a furry arm with Doctor Evazan's gun. And
Yeah.
by the way, none of it's a lot of nonsense, but it's kind of great. But I did love that this thing was found and exists and
Mhm.
matches. What else can you say? It matches. So I thought
Yeah.
this was really nice. I thought 401 and 402, the two R2D2 schematics are just really nice. I think
Mhm.
they'll frame up really good, either or. I think they work separately or together, which is kind of fun. Um, Where Are You? The Walking Suit. This is very similar, but sorry, 405 is a sort of a clear R2 like we were
Yeah, I was
discussing.
thinking,
Yeah.
like, I was like, "Oh, did Dave," and then I was
No,
like,
I
"No,
believe this is
this is all too
another
soon."
one. This is
Yeah.
another one.
Well, maybe this
Yeah.
motivates you, Dave. I mean, that's a
Well,
healthy
we'll
estimate
see. I mean,
for.
I was surprised by the estimate, quite honestly. So I will keep my eye on
Does
it.
that change your mind?
I don't know. We'll see how
Yeah,
bad
okay.
how bad I'm in debt again.
How
Yeah,
badly
exactly.
this auction dings
Um,
you up.
I got a real kick out of 406, 407, and 408. These are Boris Vallejo roughs for the Coca-Cola Empire Strikes Back
Yeah.
posters. 406 is, I believe, the movie theater poster, and then 407 and 408 are two of the three Coca-Cola Burger King. I think they were given out at
Mm,
Burger King too, posters. Um, the originals, I believe, are with Coca-Cola, so those are not popping up anytime soon. I did not know these prelims existed. They are out of the Bill Plum collection, which I've purchased things from, and we've talked about from these last couple of auctions. He was a really wonderful art collector, Star Wars art collector. These three pieces are fantastic. They are three very healthy what can I say other than estimates? They're bigger number. When I looked down, I was a little surprised considering they
mm,
are not the finished pieces,
comp, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, so I do like them a lot though. It might be fun to grab, at least try and grab one of them. So perhaps I can
To grab at least all
gather the
3 of them,
people that
Dave.
are
Who are you
interested.
kidding?
Yeah, I know. Gather the people that are interested and kind of go, I'll take this one, you take that one. But anyway, I did like
Yeah.
them a lot, and I did not know these roughs existed, so I doubly cool wherever that fits in. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, I go to the big boy,
yeah,
414.
414. Yeah, we've been waiting for this.
Oh,
Let me
Dave.
let me start by saying it has a crack in the visor. You should not bid on it. It's
I should
cracked. It's
I should
horrible.
pass.
Yeah, it's you don't want to do you want to buy something and have it arrive with a crack in it, broken? Would you, if your car showed up with a broken windshield, would you want that car? Or would you say, no, no, take this away, bring me a different car from one of the prequels? Right? That's what you
It's
would say.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Bring me a Mandalorian piece that may or may not be real.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's fantastic. It's the
Yeah.
third of the Trinity as far as I consider it. So yeah.
Yeah, to me, this helmet is Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, it's when we were doing some of the, I can't remember honestly if
Should we
this
call
was
out
some.
what it is? It's
Oh,
we're
I guess
talking
we
about it.
should.
It's
414.
the
Yeah.
Imperial Scout Trooper Biker Scout, quote unquotes,
Yeah.
helmet from Return of the Jedi. This is the first one to ever come to public auction. They're very rare. You would think there were more of these around. There are
They have
only,
sold. I mean, I'm aware of other sales, but
but
yeah,
not
this is
publicly.
no, not publicly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and there what, 2 we're aware of, 3 we're aware of? I mean, it's
I want
very
to
small,
say
the number.
I think three, but more than
Okay.
some. So yeah, wherever
Yeah,
that fits in.
and,
Um,
it's glorious.
No, it's great. I can't remember if this was when we were doing the Macquarie book or when Brandon Allinger was doing the costume book. Maybe it was the costume book, and he was the sort of the notion of these costumes, the biker scout costumes, as sort of there was sort of this idea of almost like a SWAT team, an outer space SWAT team. And I've always loved thinking about that because they are really cool. In some ways, they are the coolest of the three stormtrooper main iterations. And it feels like an elite unit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the biker scouts were the best of the best, even though of course they're terrible shots and they collide into things and fall off their bikes and are beaten by rock throwers. By the way, there's an Ewok rock lot that really made me laugh just because
I know.
it's in a nutshell my least favorite part of
Yeah,
Jedi, but in a prop, which is the rocks that brought down
yeah,
the Empire. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So how
Um,
much are you gonna bid on it, Dave?
the rocks, like 1,000, like $10,000 for the
Okay,
rocks.
okay.
Anyway, this is just great. Like I said, the elite unit. I just always love that sense of that sort of that space thing, and having made all these movies, the face flipping up because they were also, I think, wanted to save time. They were sick of people taking their helmets off and putting them back on and whatnot in between takes, and so they kind of built it so that they could just kind of pop the front and kind of speed production up, which I always appreciated as well.
Drink a
uh
beer. Yeah.
Yeah, this just it looks just fantastic. None of the armor's ever shown up. I think some gloves have shown up. I also have
Mhm.
a speeder bike gun, which has shown from time
Blaster,
to
yeah.
time. Yeah, this is all really nice. Inside, there's a picture of it, number 41, biker 13. There's a bunch of numbers there. There were a
Yeah.
lot of these things. I think Lucasfilm still has a bunch of them, but
Does number
yeah.
41 imply that they made that many of them?
I don't know, it's possible that number 41 could refer to the call sheet where, the
Sure.
first 20 or 30 could have been other things, but by the
Yeah.
way, there are, if you actually look at the movie, they definitely had a bunch of extras playing,
Yeah.
biker soldiers, so I guess it's possible. I'm sure there's documentation somewhere. There were a lot of them. There were more than 3, I guess is the main point.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
surprising to me, and look, maybe this thing being in here at that number shakes another loose or something like that, but it's surprising to me because this feels like a thing that you would take, from the production, and, it's just
Yes,
surprising to me that so few have shown up
that
with
more of them haven't, yes.
so many
Although
Jedi Stormtrooper helmets have
right.
shown up.
No, but by the time you did get to Jedi, I guess, they were, it's an interesting dichotomy. I think they were the archives existed and they were trying to hold on to stuff, and yet more things showed up.
Yeah,
There's no great answer to it at
yeah.
all. But
Yeah,
it's really
it's
wonderful. It's a shame it's cracked and terrible. It
and
definitely
then
has a very healthy range of estimate.
yeah.
The low end feels, what I would have said, quote unquote, right. The high end, I'm guessing, is defined a little bit by the previous TIE fighter sale, is my guess. There is
Yeah,
sort
and
of
I
what
think the
we're
thing here is just that,
seeing.
like,
Yeah.
I think with the 3PO and the TIE fighter and all that,
Right. And there haven't been one. There
they're
hasn't been one. Yes, exactly.
but they're matched, and I think that is a thing, and I'm not poo-pooing this helmet at all, I just think that is a big deal that at that level does move the price up into a different stratosphere.
I do concur. It does not. I want to be really clear about this for the listening audience. The lack of the match does not bother me in
No,
the
it bothers me
least. I want to
not
be,
at all.
yeah,
Yeah,
really clear about that. I do think it would bother me at,
but it should
500,
bother me, right,
right.
Dave?
Well, you shouldn't touch this thing with the crack and it's not matched and someone wrote in it. Jesus Christ. If
Oh,
you bought a
Mark?
brand new like leather jacket and I wrote number 41 in it, you wouldn't want that, right? No.
Yeah,
You
can
wouldn't
you write
want that.
Harrison
Yeah,
Ford in it?
but really wonderful. Look, I got to be honest with you. If you start getting to this high end of the estimate or above, it does feel like a lot, but I'm also aware that will become the market, meaning the next one will start there. So there's that sort of thought
Yeah.
process, I guess,
Yeah, yeah.
wherever that fits in. Um, while we're talking about really
It's
cool
a great
Star Wars
piece.
Jedi things, the 415, by the way, I think is equally great, which is just a full stormtrooper rifle with all the pieces on it. Like nothing was ever taken off of it, unlike a lot of other rifles that have replacement or replica scopes or ammo boxes or whatnot or fins or whatnot. This is pretty great. It's got a pretty great price on it for that reason. But from the set straight up, and certainly while it is a Jedi one, I think any stormtrooper display would be made that much better by this. I will simply say, I really
I
do.
agree
So yeah,
wholeheartedly,
yeah.
Dave, and I agree because thank you for that nice sales pitch because this is mine.
Is that
So
yours? Holy shit! I had no memory of that. I'm sorry. Oh,
I
that's
do
great. Oh,
appreciate,
funny.
you I was letting
Yeah.
you go. You were running with it. Yes,
Well,
but
I think it's great. I think it's great for
yeah,
all those
this is
reasons. Yeah.
mine. This is a really I mean, I'm saying this as the person selling it, but this is a very lovely piece. It's chunky, it's heavy, the trigger pulls, it does clicky click when you move it around. It feels like a real weapon, but the best thing about it is it's built on this MGC thing, so you don't have to worry about as long as you can
Right.
have a non-gun wherever you live, this thing is fine. I mean, this was okay to
Right.
have in
But
the
you don't
UK.
have to. You don't have to get a license. You don't have
Correct,
to.
correct.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about any of that because it's a toy essentially, but a metal toy that they've built this thing on. And I had this for many years because I bought it because I always wanted a hero Star Wars
Sure.
blaster, like a recognizable one. And in my mind, I was never going to be able to get a hero character like a Han Solo or Luke Skywalker. And when the solo blaster that I got last year swung around, I just decided that I didn't really need two of these in my collection. the solo to me was an upgrade, so that's why that's the only reason I'm moving on for this, because I love my helmet, but my helmet is obviously a New Hope, so this sort of went with it but sort of didn't. And yeah, I think
I
it's
get do you think I mean, here's my question to you, $1,000,000 question. Let's say tomorrow a really good, Star Wars trooper gun showed itself, possibly with some, possibly like, let's say, a replica scope,
Mhm.
but let's say, real, a match of some sort or something of that nature that, you felt really good about it. Do you think you would add a Star Wars one to go with your helmet, or
I
you the
don't
ship
think
has
so.
sailed?
I
Okay, that
think
was my
I think the
question.
ship has sailed. I mean, where I would consider it is, of course, if I had a full costume. I think that
Sure.
would be where, you would want that as part to finish the costume. But no, and I'm very at peace with this. I mean, I saw it in here and I was like, oh, am I gonna see it? And when they lay it all out in the catalog, am I gonna want it back? And no, I mean, I loved the piece. I loved having it. And it really is great. And I think this is the most recognizable Star Wars blaster that's not doesn't belong to
Yeah.
Han Solo, which is
No,
very
it's,
nice. And
that part of it is great, and when I
please
look at
bid
the
on it.
Star
And thank you. I would also like to thank Dave for convincing Propstore to put this after the Biker Scout helmet, so that I could not possibly fund my own bidding of the Biker
oh,
Scout
that's
helmet
very
with
funny, the
the
flipperoo.
victory
Yeah.
of my Trooper Blaster sale.
I was gonna also point out for both of these, and I'm pretty sure the Indy hat, and this is tells you we have just been in the prop business just far too long. Wade LaJose, my good friend, friend of the show, co-author of
Listener
the
of the podcast.
listener of the podcast, and also co-author of the Ralph McQuarrie book with me and Brandon Ellinger, is a graphic designer by trade, a wonderfully talented graphic designer, does book covers, title sequences, everything, just really brilliant with that stuff. Um, he does layouts. He helps them with certain layouts for the catalog.
Mhm.
And I think they specifically always hand him like the high end, like Star Wars and indie stuff. And I'm pretty sure he did the hat. I'm pretty sure he did the helmet here and the gun. And I think all three of these are
They're killer.
they could be taught in prop catalog school. This is what you want. And I'm annoyed at myself for knowing who laid out a page of a prop catalog. And so that clearly is some level of like, okay, time to commit
That's
the guy.
that's
Yeah,
super
like
nerdy.
that's like,
Yeah.
yeah, super nerdy. However, um, I'm looking at just the way both of these are laid out, just these two back to back, and the way you are seeing these details, like the seeing both the upside down shot of the helmet with the you can sort of see the writing inside, but then the close up of the writing,
Mhm.
the back of the helmet, the thing with it up, the gun from all the different angles, the screen grab. This is just, I mean, talk about how you want your stuff sold. This is just
Yeah.
so Wade,
Yeah,
kudos,
no, yeah,
bravo,
I'm
bravo.
very
Yeah,
happy with this layout, so thank you. Yeah, yeah, I hope it goes to a good home, and, if you
yeah,
have any questions about it,
yeah.
feel free
Ask us,
to
we'll tell you. Yeah.
write
I
the pod.
I was going to say, speaking of Ralph McQuarrie, just because we're kind of in this realm, 419 and 420, these are designs for the Panasonic Japanese commercial Sparky, a character he created. Obviously, he was sort of working for the Panasonic people. He was not designing perhaps the way he might have done it. So I don't know if this is my favorite stuff, but I do get a kick that
It is very
that it exists. That Ralph
yeah,
McQuarrie was forced to draw robots with goofy
sparky.
faces. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Talk about 421 about how incredible it is as if you didn't know I owned it. Okay. Can you do that for the sell from the holiday special?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, this is your opportunity to own a hand-painted Boba Fett animation cell. I mean, of all of the Boba Fett animation cells from the Star Wars Holiday Special from 1978, I think this is the one that you really want to own. It
First
has
appearance of Boba Fett. First appearance of Boba
yeah,
Fett.
first appearance of Boba Fett. It has the Boba Fett helmet. It has the Wookiee braids in evidence. It has much of his arm.
Yeah.
It's something else. How's that, Dave?
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, did you have anything else in this fine catalog? Dare I say that was it for me? Anything else that hit
I
you?
have one more at the
Oh,
very,
wonderful.
very end, because this falls into either like it's time this is where Dave just this is one of those, like, I'm going to talk about this yet again. It's one of our categories. Like, how many times am I going to talk about this and not bid on it?
Okay.
It's lot 451, Wyatt Earp's
Yeah.
hat from Tombstone.
Yep.
Wyatt Hero. I think this one has been around before. I think I got to go for this one this time around. I just think I got to have the hat to go with my Earp gun. What do you
I
think,
think
Dave?
that would be pretty incredible. I feel like, especially on the low end, this is not a terrible price. I mean, even on the
Yeah.
high end, it's not an awful price.
Yeah.
It's such a good movie.
It's
It's
so good.
so good. It's so damn good. Um, yeah, and your guns are fantastic. Uh, One day I'll find something from this movie. I just would so love Doc.
Yeah.
I have a stunt Doc Holliday gun, but it's
Oh,
like rubber and falling apart.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's not much to look at. I don't. It's sort of a weird placeholder that was cheap
Yeah.
enough. But
I
one
told
day,
you
yeah,
the rumor, right? I told you the rumor that's like so good that it's almost got to be true, which is that Reggie
tell it
Jackson
again. Just oh, I did.
Reggie
You did tell
Jackson
me
is
that.
the
Yes,
owner of the Hero Kilmer belt rig, I believe, in both of his pistols.
that is perfect. And Reggie, if you'd like to come on the show, we would love to talk to you about it.
You and your collection,
What a great way that would be
yeah.
to meet Reggie Jackson if we could just reach out and like only want to talk to him about like no, we don't want to talk about like the
Yeah, yeah,
Oakland
Yankees.
A's.
Okay,
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah,
Yankees,
yeah.
whatever.
Reggie,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, Tombstone.
Yeah, and
Uh,
check out. We're gonna do a live episode where not only are we gonna go through this catalog and have a little fun with the catalog because there are some other odds and ends that I'm very interested in, and I know Ryan is as well. But also on the Prop Store live catalog episode, you will find out the winner of last season's Dave 10, Ryan 10. Hint: it's probably Ryan. But you will find the winner on the live episode brought to you by Prop
you
Store.
can't,
So
guys. You
yeah.
can't. I can't win again because I've run out of room on my prop store trophy shelf. It's I'm at the
It would
three is
be
the max
ironic if
capacity.
your sheer number of wins is what prevents you from getting the Batwing because you just realize it's just never going to fit. I've got too many crystal first place Ryan 10 wins. I guess I'll have to forego the Batwing. Oh well. Yeah.
The giant Batwing.
Irony. Pure irony. Yeah.
Final thoughts, Dave. I mean, there's a lot to digest here, a lot to think about. I mean, maybe we do that in our live episode recap.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
we
think
just
we
let it
can
sit.
think about it and sort of talk about it there. Heck of a day one. I know that's my summary.
I think
Heck of
this
a
is a
day
great
one. Yeah.
catalog. I mean, I think you and I were a bit I think we were,
It
because
was a shame that we knew the
we
five
knew we knew too
killer
much.
pieces. Yes, we knew a little too
And I
much in
think
this
we are
case. Yeah.
lifted up to really think, and like they are five killer pieces, but I think the surprises had come far in advance.
Yeah.
A lot of the best ones. But no, I mean, I think it's a great sale, and they just did a sale 4 months ago. I mean, this is a pretty incredible thing, and a bunch of things that are fresh to market. You know, the Biker
Yeah.
Scout, the certainly the Batwing, certainly the new Fedora. I mean, these aren't like reruns. You know, these are great things that they've dug up and brought forth, and I just think it's very cool. So
You
kudos to
get the
Propstore.
sense that they could do 4 or 5 a year if they
Yeah, I think
really.
they could
Yeah.
do the heritage thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you prune it down a bit. I think you'd probably end up in the 350 to 400 lots, era, and it would just be more churn and burn. But yeah, they could totally. I mean, there's enough interest and enough action that I think you could do that. I just don't know if they have any. My big question for them is, do you ever add a second London auction?
I don't know where the stuff is coming from enough to answer that question. You
Well,
know
I
what I
mean, I
mean?
think,
Yeah.
they send it all back and forth. I mean, my
No, they
blaster.
certainly do, but there's issues. Every time they send it back and forth, there's a lot of paperwork.
There,
So I
yeah,
do think,
there is,
yeah,
but my blaster, I actually specifically requested that it get sold in the U.S. just for currency and
sure.
whatever, and so I had a credit in the U.S. in the U.S. auction. So we'll see. Before we go, favorite
Yeah.
piece, just gut.
Favorite piece, not a surprise, is unfortunately the Biker Scout helmet. I mean,
Okay.
it just is. I mean, that has just been. And it sounds silly to say this. It has just been on my want list for far too long.
Yeah.
And
No, I know.
and I've truly, just not narrowly missed the, but was bummed when I didn't get one of the last one that moved. You know what I mean? I don't know how. There's no other way of saying it. So yeah, it is. It just. Yeah. So it has just been on my list for far too long. That I guess I'm thinking about it that way. But if I had a brain, I would be thinking about some of these other pieces, because I do think, again, I'm not a bidder on the Batwing. I do think it's fucking great. I mean, I will be hetzing you on as much as humanly possible. So I do think it's pretty incredible. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's my favorite piece in the catalog.
Yeah. I mean, best piece overall, and I don't know who owns it, but that Return of the Jedi gun, the Stormtrooper gun, I mean, whoever owns that and put it in is a one lucky fella. So yeah.
It's a genius.
Yeah.
It's a genius. It's no Boba Fett cell, Dave.
No, but what is these days? Yeah. What is these days? Yeah. Come back for the live show. I think we got a lot to talk about. I think we got to think about what our modus operandi will be, and what we're thinking in terms of what we're individually going for, what we're keeping our eye on the side, and then at some point or another, dear Lord, days 2, 3, and 4.
4 are coming, yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, which is sort of wild to think about, but all here as part of the Entertainment Memorabilia EMLA Propstore auction, Treasures from Film and Television, Los Angeles, August 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th. August 15th, live at the Peterson Museum.
And all these lots that we discussed today are the live.
Or day one
of the 15th.
Lots,
yes.
Which I think is a Thursday the 15th.
Register. Register early, bid often.
Propstore.com. Register there /live auction. Propstore.com /live auction. And a whole bunch more to come on the live show. And please continue to like us and follow us on your podcast app and our YouTube channel, The Stuff Dreams Are Made Of. Please subscribe there as well. Subscribe and like us everywhere possible, even places that are not possible. Subscribe and like us, please. So yeah.
There you go. Good luck, everybody.